This Old House is an American home improvement media brand with television shows, a magazine and a website, thisoldhouse.com. The television series airs on the American television station Public Broadcasting Service and follows remodeling projects of houses over a number of weeks. This Old House is produced by This Old House Ventures, Incorporated, with WGBH Boston as the PBS distributing station. Warner Brothers Domestic Television distributes the series to commercial television stations in syndication. Time Incorporated launched This Old House magazine in 1995, focusing on home how-to, know-how and inspiration. In 2001, Time Incorporated acquired the television assets from WGBH Boston and formed This Old House Ventures, Incorporated. Overview: This Old House and its sister series Ask This Old House are often broadcast together as the This Old House Hour. Both shows are owned by This Old House Ventures, Incorporated, and are underwritten by GMC and the Home Depot. Weyerhaeuser Lumber Distributor, a previous underwriter, by 1989 had donated more than $1 million a year to the show. This Old House is also underwritten by State Farm Insurance and Lumber Liquidators, Incorporated. Other underwriters throughout the show's tenure included Parks Corporation, Glidden Paints, Montgomery Ward, Ace Hardware, Kohler Plumbing, Schlage Locks, Century 21 Real Estate, Toro Lawn Mowers, Snow Blowers, ERA Real Estate, Angie's List, and Mitsubishi Electrics. Two of the original underwriters were Weyerhaeuser and Owens Corning. The third series to share the name is Inside This Old House, a retrospective featuring highlights from previous episodes. Old episodes are also shown under the program name This Old House Classics and were formerly shown on the Learning Channel under the name The Renovation Guide. Only the episodes with original host Bob Vila aired under that name. As of 2006, classics are also carried on the commercial non-broadcast DIY network as well as syndicated to local TV stations. This Old House was one of the earliest home improvement shows on national television. As such, it was initially controversial among building contractors, and the cast was afraid that they were giving away secrets of the building trades. However, as time passed, the show grew into a cultural icon. Producer-director Russell Marash became known as the father of how-to. History. Begun in 1979 as a one-time, 13-part series on the Boston PBS station WGBH, it has grown into one of the most popular programs on the network. It has produced spin-offs, a magazine, and for-profit websites. The show has won 17 Emmy Awards and received 82 nominations. Although WGBH acquired the first two project houses for renovation, the series then focused on renovating older houses, including those of modest size and value, with the homeowners doing some of the work, as a form of sweat equity. The series covering the renovation of the Westwood House became something of a cult classic because of an escalating dispute between the hosts, Vila and Abram, and the homeowners over the direction the project was taking. Vila remarked at the end of the Westwood series that the owners could have contributed more sweat equity. As the show evolved, it began to focus on higher-end, luxury homes with more of the work done by expert contractors and tradespeople. Bob Vila, the original host, left in 1989 following a dispute about doing commercials and created a similar show called Bob Vila's Home Again. According to news reporter Barbara Beck, Vila was fired by WGBH Boston over making TV commercials for Rickle Home Centers, Home Depot's competitor. Home Depot, the show's underwriter, dropped its local sponsorship for This Old House after Vila made the commercials. Vila was fired in an effort to have Home Depot return as a sponsor to the show. During Vila's tenure, the show drew 11 million viewers and had won 5 Emmys. Weyerhaeuser, at this time a supplier for Home Depot, stopped underwriting the show. Steve Thomas took over hosting duties after Vila's departure, remaining with the program until 2003. Cast members later complained that Vila took up too much screen time, and noted that the show became more of an ensemble production after he left. Time Incorporated began production of This Old House magazine in 1995. In 2001, Time Incorporated bought the show from WGBH. Kevin O'Connor is the current host. Before O'Connor joined the cast, he was a homeowner who appeared on Ask This Old House having problems with wallpaper removal. While O'Connor has been the host, Norm Abrams' role has increased to that of a near co-host. In at least a couple of season opening episodes, Norm has appeared with Kevin to introduce the new project. Norm also filled in for Kevin when his son was born during the Carlisle project. Beginning with the 2007-08 season, the show, as well as its companion program, Ask This Old House, has been presented in a high-definition format. To celebrate its 30th anniversary season, This Old House is working with Nuestra Comunidad to renovate a foreclosed home in Boston's Roxbury neighborhood. Nuestra Comunidad is a non-profit development corporation, and acquired this 1872-era Second Empire home from a bank. Once the job is done, the house's 2 units will be sold to 2 local families. 2 students from Youth Build Boston are assisting with the project, as is general contractor David Lopes. Lopes has a great deal of experience in both historic preservation and affordable housing projects. He will take on such tasks as replacing part of the foundation, demolishing a 3-story addition because it had gone far beyond repair, and rebuilding the house's decrepit interior. Much of the house's original details are beyond repair, but Lopes will work to preserve the most important ones. Theme music: from the show's debut in 1979 until 2002, This Old House used the first theme song Louisiana Fairy Tale, composed by Haven Gillespie, Mitchell Parrish and J. Fred Coots and performed by 20th-century jazz artist Fats Waller. The theme song was changed after This Old House Ventures acquired the series from WGBH. The next theme song was called This Old House 97, composed by Peter Bell. A new one followed that in 2009. Bill Janovitz then wrote the show's current theme music in 2012. Ask This Old House. Ask This Old House began in 2002 and was spun off from a section of This Old House magazine of the same name. Readers of the magazine or viewers of the show submit questions about various home repair or improvement projects, which are answered by the experts. It has been nominated for 5 Emmy Awards. The regulars on the show are O'Connor, Tom Silver, Richard Trethewey and Roger Cook. Guest experts appear to answer more specialized questions. The show takes place in the loft of a rural barn somewhere in the Boston area. Most of the questions are answered in the loft, but 1 or 2 homeowners in each episode receive a visit from one of the show's 3 tradesmen, who assist in either starting or completing the task with the homeowner's help. O'Connor sometimes assists in these projects. There is also a feature entitled, What Is It?, in which 3 of the 4 regulars offer humorous guesses as to what an unusual tool is used for. The adjudicating 4th regular reveals the actual use. Beginning with the 2007 August season, this program added a useful tip segment provided by a viewer of the show. The Useful Tip segment is a revival of a short-lived feature of This Old House when Viola hosted the show. The opening credits feature a GMC van towing the blue Ask This Old House trailer around Boston and rural Massachusetts before reaching its final destination, the barn. The short, 25-second version shows Silver, the passenger, picking up 4 coffees from a drive-thru, while the driver in the longer, 40-second version is shown to be O'Connor. In both versions, after pulling into the driveway beside the barn, the footage cuts to Richard Trethewey handing out the coffees to the other 3 regulars. Prior to O'Connor's installation as host, the driver was Steve Thomas, the host for the show's first year. This Old House magazine, the expert in home renovation, This Old House magazine was first published in 1995 by Time Incorporated. Published 10 times per year, This Old House magazine has a circulation of over 950,000 and reaches nearly 6 million consumers each month. It is the leading consumer magazine for home how-to, know-how and inspiration. Scott Emelianik is the editor and Nathan Stamos is the publisher. ThisOldHouse.com is the brand's website and features how-to projects, inspiration and tips for homeowners. The website also serves as the online destination for the television show and includes bios on the cast and information on all of the home projects, and live webcams of the current house projects. Inside This Old House, now defunct spin-off of the This Old House franchise, Inside This Old House was shown primarily on the A&E network. The show was very much like Ask This Old House. It was shot mainly in the loft, hosted by O'Connor, and features the regular experts listed above and also Abram. However, unlike Ask This Old House, usually one or two experts were used throughout the episode and a specific theme was discussed. The theme was usually a particular topic. Along with the in-house expert, and sometimes a guest expert, clips were shown of past episodes of This Old House to further illustrate the point, as well as revisiting past projects undertaken over the previous 25 years to see what the homeowners have done since airing. A segment called Inside Out featured one of two guest commentators, or one of the experts, with a brief and comedic overview of what was discussed on the show. Cast equals current cast equals, as of 2015, the cast is as follows: Norm Abram, Roger Cook, Kevin O'Connor, Tom Silver, Richard Trethewey. Equals previous hosts equals, Bob Vila, Steve Thomas. Television production team, as of 2013, the television production team is as follows: Russell Marash, Chris Wolfe, John Tomlin, Heath Raceland. Parody, like many successful programs, This Old House has found its way into the humorist's eye on occasion. The most famous example is Tool Time, the show within a show on the American television situation comedy Home Improvement. Tim Allen played Tim Taylor, a character inspired by Bob Vila, while Richard Kahn portrayed Al Borland, a character based on Norm Abram. Bob Vila also guest-starred from time to time as Tim's rival and archenemy. Almost Live, a Seattle skit comedy show, also parodied This Old House as This Here Place, This Old Mansion, This Old Yacht, This Old Condo in Aspen, and This New House. Of representatives, Fox's In Living Color featured an occasional bit titled This Old Box, in which Damon Wayans played a homeless person who discussed renovating a large cardboard box where he lived. The Disney Channel's Mickey Mouse Club did a parody called This Old Home, which featured renovations on the candy house from Hansel and Gretel. David Letterman did a parody location sketch of the series entitled This House Needs Work, with Chris Elliott playing a somewhat eccentric fix-it man on Late Night with David Letterman. Long-running sketch comedy venue Saturday Night Live has parodied This Old House from time to time, notably in 1989 with John Larroquette and again in 2004 with Liam Neeson. Another 1988 SNL sketch featured Phil Hartman hosting a fictitious PBS show called Robot Repair. The sketch had Hartman playing a sentient robot who instructed viewers on how to repair home appliances. Out of concern that the term robot repair suggested the repair of robots and not the actual theme of the show, the robot begged the producers for a new title, only to find that with each week, the title's wording got progressively confusing. The poor robot's frustration finally turned to meltdown when the producers presented the show as This Old Robot. In the 7th season of the second series of Zoom, there was a parody of This Old House which was known as This Old Place. There, Abe Norman, played by Kyle Morrow, would fix something that would never end up as it should. On one occasion, he put a gown in a washing machine and it came out as the shirt he was wearing currently. List of episodes. Season 23 Season 24 Season 25 Season 26 Season 27 Season 28 Season 29 Season 30 Season 31 Season 32 Season 33 Season 34 References. External links: This Old House official website, This Old House at the Internet Movie Database, Ask This Old House at the Internet Movie Database, This Old House at TV.com.